fun part of adding water gallon by gallon. So much fun. So much fun. So that's one of the bad parts about this system. I just dropped the lens cap, but so I just put 6.5 gallons in this, and it's just now reaching the grain basket, basically. So yeah, not ideal. I'm not the man you thought I could be, but that's alright. Yeah, it's alright. I'm getting fucked up tonight. Alright, so our target was 122 for protein rest. Let's see where we ended up. So 121.6. So I'll take that, it's close enough. Alright, we're 1 minute away from our next mash step. Which would be really annoying, I apologize. I should mention that it's not as easy as just setting your next mash temperature, especially with this system, since the temperature probe's actually in the water, and with 6.5 gallons of water, it's going to be a different temperature than your actual mash bed. So you want to do a combination of overshooting the temperature, recirculate, mix the mash again, and then use a temperature probe on the mash to get a more accurate reading of the actual temperature. Alright, so just lifted the grain bed. Can let that drain for a while. It's probably gonna. Alright, now we boil off. Forgive how dirty the system is. I do know I need to clean it. Kind of wait for springtime to come. It's a nightmare to clean this room, unfortunately. It's actually already pretty clear. So we'll let that finish draining, and then we'll start the boil. Alright, here's our 60-minute edition of Hallertau Mittelfruh. Here's the 12-minute hop edition. I also added 2 drops of zinc and some yeast nutrient, but I forgot to record it because I'm good at that. So I'm going by the bottom timer. The top one's just a backup. So 1 minute left. Actually, probably 10 seconds or so. Kill the heat, go outside, and turn the water on. There you go. Go over here. Shut the heat off. Shut this up. Alright, so I went outside, I turned the water on. It's 2:06. I should have recorded this, but I also took a sample of the wort after it was chilled, put it in a sanitized mason jar with some cheesecloth. I'm going to put this outside overnight, see if I can maybe find some wild yeast, see how it goes. Okay. so careful. It's in the beer. And we have oxygen. Alright, that should be good. We don't want too much oxygen. It is a Belgian. Like, stressing the yeast isn't a bad thing, so we'll stop there. So that's pretty much the brew day. Thank you for watching. Alright, let's get to it. What's up, guys? So here's the beer tasting for the wit beer. I'll pour it first, then I'll go over whatever notes I can think of. Hey, it hissed. I opened up one of these yesterday and it didn't hiss. I wasn't really sure why. I bottled this right off the keg from my Blickman beer gun, or with my Blickman beer gun, but I don't really have much experience bottling. I don't really do it that often, but I am at my home, so I have no choice but to bottle it and bring it here. Anyways, here goes. Already looks a little darker on screen than it does in person, but it is what it is. So I'm getting notes of lemon, wheat obviously, and I'd say probably mild to moderate yeast character. I use 3944 for this. 1 second, my cat's about to jump up on the table. Buddy, I don't want to put you in the bathroom. Please just leave me alone for a little while. Alright, so anyways, I knew I was going to get interrupted. Oh, I was shaking the chair. Oh my god. Alright, hold on a second. Now, let's go back to the beginning, unfortunately. So, aromas. Off the bat, obviously you get mostly wheat, a little bit of lemon, and I'd say mild yeast characteristics. I use 3944 Witbier yeast. Fermented kind of a little on the low side. 66 for 4 days, and then I raised to 69 until it was done fermenting. Then kegged it. And here it is I'd say about a little less than 2 weeks later. I'm not exactly sure, but so, all right. It's, another thing I want to talk about really quickly. So I'm sure I went over the grain bill already in the video, but if I had more unmalted wheat on hand at the time, I would have just used unmalted wheat. I prefer that. I feel like it gives a little bit more body and mouthfeel to the beer as opposed to white wheat. Problem is with that, you'd have to do a protein rest, and if your system really can't handle that well, don't even worry about the unmalted wheat. Just use regular malted white wheat, mash in at maybe 149, 148, something like that, so you get a little bit of a drier beer. That being said, it's this is a pretty simple beer, so there's not really much to talk about in terms of aroma, but 4.6% ABV, super drinkable, crushable. I've already had quite a lot of it, but definitely get that wheat right up front, as you should. It's very light, refreshing. There's no coriander or orange peel in this. I'm just not really a big fan of those beers. I prefer wheat beers that are just kind of let the wheat and the yeast do the talking. So that was the goal here. So yeah, surprisingly good mouthfeel and body for such a light beer, 4.6. That being said, if I did, well, I'm sure I will do this beer again eventually. This is batch 3, by the way. I've made a lot of tweaks along the way. I would try to bump this up to 4.9 to keep it still under 5, but you know, still have a nice summer ale or something to drink in hot weather, or like a barbecue, something along those lines. Not sure if I mentioned IBUs, 12.8. The entire hoppage was Hallertau Mittelfruh. I'm sure I messed that up. Mittelfruh. So let's see. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, you do get a little hint of the lemon in the flavor as well, which, by the way, I also aged 5 gallons of this on blueberries and lemon zest, so that should be interesting. Hopefully that kind of complements the beer and doesn't take away from it. Yeah, it's much lighter in person than it is on screen, but I think it's like a 3.5 SRM, so it's a very light colored beer. I should have probably put like a piece of paper behind there or something. There we go. That's a little better. But yeah, not much to talk about really. It's a super simple beer, very drinkable. Like, what more can you ask for on a hot summer day than a thirst quenching 4.6 beer? So drinkable. Very clean too. There's not much of like, I've had some beers where there's like a chalky mouthfeel, like they use maybe too much calcium. That's really all I can think of why that would be, but or maybe they didn't, because early on it did have that, because like you're rushing it, you're drinking it like 2 or 3 days after it's in the keg. You need to give it a little bit of time for that yeast to fall out, and once you do, it's just amazing. Can't get enough of this beer. I think I have like maybe 2 gallons out of the 5 left. Yeah, what more is there to say about a wit beer? I guess I'll just shut up at that point. I know as soon as I turn the camera off, I'm like, why didn't I mention this, and that? But whatever, it is what it is. No amount. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it.